Consumer America, as John Scully, a former president of Pepsi Cola America, explains.
Now, what was going on in America at that time? Remember, we had what we call the baby bubble. These are the young people who were born shortly after the Second World War when the GIs returned. They were moving into their teens into the 1960s. Teenagers are a very high per capita consumption group for soft drinks. We also had a growing affluent middle class America. And Coke had been around for a long, long time. It was a symbol of what America was. We decided we wanted Pepsi to be a symbol of what America was becoming. And therefore, we developed this idea of the Pepsi generation. We said that if there is a large group of affluent middle-class people developing, and if there are a large number of younger people who are going to be emerging as a driving force in the soft drink industry, how do we position ourselves as the product that articulates for them the aspirations of this growing middle class? Because most of our Americans at that time were gaining affluence, but they didn't have much experience in how to spend this money. And if you look at our commercials back in the early 1960s with the Pepsi generation, you'll see dirt bikes and dune buggies and all kinds of different activities, many of which are commonplace in this country today. But only 20 years ago, they were still relatively new. And we associated Pepsi with those good moments. And this really brought Pepsi out of the kitchen, you know, not only into the living room, but right into the smack in the middle of American culture.
Pepsi set out to undermine the subtle snob appeal of Coke by showing how youthful it was, how alive it was. So alive was Pepsi that a company man swore blind that people on the verge of suicide had called in to say that when they had seen the commercial, "You've got a lot to live," and "Pepsi's got a lot to give," they had decided to think again. So not only does image triumph over content, it also saves lives. And that's not all. In Chinese, "Come alive with Pepsi" is freely translated, "Pepsi brings your ancestors back from the grave."
Now, during that 20-year period of time, a lot's gone on in this country. You know, we went through the Vietnam War. You know, we've had, you know, assassinations of a president and other political leaders. We've had Watergate. We've seen hairstyles get longer and shorter and music change. And yet, the one consistency was, you know, the Pepsi generation was always the same.